Hello, Biology 201 students. Thanks for checking out the How to Be Successful PowerPoint. Too often, students start their 201 labs thinking they are well prepared for this course, and then realize after a few weeks that their approach isn't working like they had hoped. The information in this PowerPoint is here to help you find the resources you may need if you do find yourself in this position. Because 201 is terminology dense and focused on multiple body systems, students not only struggle memorizing definitions, identifying structures, and applying lab activities to the human form, but they struggle synthesizing these concepts and understanding how the systems work together. I hope you find these resources helpful so you perform well in this lab and set yourself up for a successful future career. As we go through this in consecutive lectures, you will see questions and comments pop up in orange just like this statement did here, and sometimes that color might vary. This is your key to pause the video because you may need to get out a worksheet, make a drawing, or think to yourself and answer a question. The point is for you to be an actively engaged learner and a participant of this lecture. It's easy to zone out sitting in front of the computer, so try to find a nice place that allows you to focus. I also recommend closing any social media sites you may have open and turning off all notifications so that dingers, bells, or buzzers don't distract your learning through these videos. Another idea, especially if you have a hard time sitting still for long periods of time or get distracted easily, is to watch these videos in smaller chunks, maybe 20 to 30 minutes at a time. Get to know your specific learning style and understand that learning styles constantly change depending on the instructor you have, the class you are taking, and the material you are studying, or even with what's happening in your life. First and foremost, you must spend time familiarizing yourself with the resources at NAU as well as in your BB Learn shell. This can be overwhelming, but I hope this video will help walk you through everything you need. Here you can see a screenshot of the Academic Success Center's website. If you are new to anatomy and physiology, struggle with studying, or just need some extra support, this program is exceptionally helpful. They offer one-on-one, group session, and drop-in tutoring here. And they also offer supplemental instruction. Supplemental instruction is a series of peer-facilitated weekly review sessions. SI leaders or our current students who have previously taken the course, performed well, and now want to help others succeed. Students who regularly attend SI sessions earn fewer D's and F's and on average get a higher final course grade. You should also check out the resources available at Klein Library. This is a great place to work, use the computers, print papers, or meet up with study groups. They offer individual and study group rooms so you always have a quiet place to work. And they offer technology lending services in case you need laptops, chargers, or audiovisual equipment. Your BB Learn shell has a lot of information, and this may be overwhelming the first time you look at it. That being said, this is designed to make your learning as easy and clear-cut as possible. The two sections highlighted in red have resources to help you be more successful in your academic career, important documents for this lab, and other resources to help you through the ups and downs of life. Let's explore all of these sections to give you a better idea of what you have available to you. Go ahead and open another browser and follow along in your own BB Learn shell while I walk you through each section. Alright, so the first section we're going to take a look at is called What's Happening in the Lab. This section is where you will find any new announcements from your lab TA. These announcements should also be sent to your school email, and they will include updates to the lab, helpful reminders about due dates, and any other pertinent information your lab TA needs to communicate. You should block out a chunk of time each day to check your email and BB Learn shells for updates. Below that is the calendar. Most assignments have due dates and will populate your calendar, but you are expected to follow the syllabus, stay informed with your lab TA, and should double check all of your assignments weekly. Below that is a discussion board. Feel free to use the discussion board to communicate with your peers and TA. Oftentimes, other students have the same questions as you, and many of your peers will also have the answers. Instead of waiting for an email from your TA, try reaching out to your entire class. By using this feature, students have formed study groups, gone into more depth on certain topics, and supported each other's learning styles. The next section is Collaborate Ultra. This is a real-time video conferencing tool that your TA may or may not choose to use. Like Zoom and other video conferencing software, your TA may use this to set up individual meetings if you need help or hold group office hours during the week. Your TA will give you more information about what they plan on using during the first week of labs. This section, Want an A, Start Here, may be the most important section. You will find that each topic is numbered in the order you should go through them. Let's start with being successful tips. When you click on the content area, you will see a set of instructions at the top highlighted in yellow. In this case, you can see that the first 4 items are the most helpful to the most amount of people. Number 2 is a document called Improving Your Academic Performance. I recommend pausing here and downloading this document, printing it off, and keeping it in your lab folder. You may want to open that right now and follow along with this video. Here you can read through the table of contents and click on the numbers which are hyperlinked to each section. This document contains a lot of information and we aren't going to go over all of this, but there are a few main points I would like to go over with you. Let's scroll down to the grade description section. The grade description section is just that, a general description of how students perform at each letter grade. For example, A students produce high-quality work and have gained mastery of the concepts. They connect these concepts between chapters and are easily able to apply the material to clinical scenarios. Students spend most of their time engaged in active learning strategies and are capable of teaching the material to others. Students can apply form and function to all structures as well as analyze the differences and similarities between body systems and their relevant structures. They can analyze slides or case studies of pathologies and evaluate how those pathologies would or could affect the current or previously studied body systems. Let's scroll down a few pages to Building Long-Term Memory. These are recommendations to help you store the lab material in your long-term memories better. It is based on Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy shows a hierarchy of learning from lower-level thinking skills like memorization, where most students spend their time studying, up to higher-level thinking skills. You have to memorize terminology in this lab, but you should also be working towards higher-level thinking skills like comparing and contrasting or synthesizing the functions of different body systems. Below this section are descriptions of each level of Bloom's taxonomy and a list of tasks you might complete to reinforce that skill. I like to compare studying to building a house, and in order to have a strong house, you must have a strong foundation. The same is true of studying. In order to really understand the concepts of this course, you have to have a strong understanding of the terminology. Once you have that foundation, you can start learning more complex topics. The more you can engage with the lab material, the better you will perform. Make flashcards, print out images of the slides, and place them in a plastic sheet protector. Then take a dry erase marker and label everything you need to know on that picture. You can even work with a partner or small group and exchange these mini tests and grade each other's. Be sure to correct the tests and teach the other person what they got wrong, as this will help you learn the material better. When you're done, wipe off the sheet protector, put in a different image, and do it again. You can also download all the PowerPoints and use them as study guides. All of the slides with diagrams and histology are animated with arrows. You can delete the vocabulary word and turn that slide into an animated quiz to test yourself. Most importantly, communicate any problems or challenges you're having with your lab TA immediately. She or he is here to help you by directing you to campus resources, offer study techniques and tips, and advise you with time management skills. Let's scroll down to how to be successful in labs. Here, you will find tips on doing well in anatomy labs. Most of this section has come from previous students who have passed with A's, undergraduate lab assistants, and graduate TAs who have recently taken this course and are diving deeper into the content through their knowledge. Below this is the Introduction to Human Anatomy and Physiology Lab Study Guide. Use this study guide as a list of questions to ask yourself when working on the slides, models, dissections, and lab activities. For example, with every slide you look at in lab, ask yourself, can I identify what this is? Can I label every structure on that slide? And can I name the function of each of those structures? Do the same for models, dissections, and lab activities. This will help you be more successful, make you an active learner, and will help make the time go by much faster. If we move down a little bit farther, you can see an example weekly planner. Time management is extremely important for this lab. We recommend that you study 4 to 7 hours per week outside of lab in order to master these concepts. Some of you may need less time and some may need more. We all learn differently and we need to learn how we learn. Studying this much for a lab can be frustrating, but you will be learning a lot of vocabulary and challenging concepts each week, not to mention identifying all of these structures on slides, models, dissections, and images. There's a lot to do in this lab, not to mention all of your other obligations like classes, work, volunteering, or extracurriculars. Divide up all of the many tasks you need to do for this lab throughout the week. Maybe you have lab on Monday, so before that lab, you are reviewing last week's material for your test. After your lab, you find some time to finish any lab activities from that day and you finish your review questions. Then, on Tuesday and Wednesday, you set aside some time to make flashcards, rewrite your notes, make practice quizzes, or print out some blank images. Then on Thursday and Friday, you find some time to go to open labs or make an appointment with your lab TA in office hours. Here you can look at microscopes, models, or ask specific questions that you might have. On Friday, you also read your lab manual or watch online lectures to get prepared for the upcoming week. You take a day off on Saturday, and then on Sunday, you set aside a big chunk of time to study and work on committing these concepts to memory for the test on Monday. Obviously, your schedule will look differently, but by breaking all of these study techniques into smaller, more manageable chunks of time, you can reduce anxiety, study more efficiently, and commit information to long-term memory. Many students have the attitude that once the test and review are over in lab, they can just leave and they'll worry about studying later. This lab is already built into your schedule, so you should be looking at it as valuable study time. Take advantage of the fact that in your lab, you have access to an experienced master's or PhD student as a TA and a successful undergraduate lab assistant. You also have the ability to observe and study directly from all the items that will be on your weekly tests. There really should be no reason that you would schedule anything at the same time you have lab. Would you book a doctor's appointment during your work shift or your grandmother's birthday party? Probably not. So sit back, relax, and use this time to learn about all the wonderful concepts related to your field of study. This last page has advice for setting up effective study groups. Many times students get frustrated in study groups because they aren't efficient or don't accomplish what they are supposed to. Use these recommendations to be prepared, be on task, and establish guidelines to get the most bang for your buck. All right, let's move back to BB Learn and keep moving through our material. If no one has ever talked to you about what kind of learner you are, you may want to click on this link labeled "What kind of learner are you?" It will take you to the VARK test. The VARK test stands for Visual, Auditory, Read, Write, and Kinesthetic and may help you learn more about how you learn. You may be more of a visual or auditory learner than you may have previously thought. It's full of really good resources, so I'd recommend spending a little bit of time looking this website over. We already went over the study groups guide in the previous document, but here it is again in a shortened form if you just want to quickly reference this. Below that is a folder called Campus Resources. In the Campus Resources folder, you will find many resources on campus that are designed to be your support system. These links will take you to the academic success centers, health promotions, disability resources, and many other campus organizations. Use this folder when life happens, you're in a rut, or if friends on campus need assistance too. A couple other things that I'd like to point out to you is this link right here, our academic integrity policy and procedures. This will take you to our policy on NAU's website and explains in detail what can happen if you cheat, copy, or plagiarize. Below that is the emergency textbook loan program. Don't sacrifice your grade because you can't afford books. Follow this link and apply for the emergency textbook loan program, which assists students with limited financial means in obtaining required course materials for classes. Then below that, we have our Harvard note-taking section and Cornell note-taking section. You may have heard of these before or even used them in previous classes, but these two documents provide helpful tips for taking better notes and being a more active learner while in class. The next two sections contain links to NAU's website that give you relevant dates for adding, dropping, or withdrawing from a course. And below that is our Safe Walk program. This program offers safety escorts to individuals who feel uncomfortable walking alone on campus. Escorts are provided to individuals who wish to travel to and from on-campus destinations. Escorts are not provided to off-campus destinations except in special circumstances. So if you have late-night labs or lectures, this might be a good program for you. The next link will take you to other NAU policy statements. I'd recommend you check those out. And if you're an international student struggling with English, click on this link. It will take you to the Academic English Support Tutoring Program. And finally, Fruits and Veggies RX is a way for NAU students to get free fruits and veggies. Don't sacrifice your grades and health if you can't afford healthy food. All right, let's look back up at the top here, and we'll click on our syllabus. Again, at the top, there are some instructions, followed by the syllabus and the syllabus contract. Print out and read the syllabus carefully before your first week of labs. We will go over this in the next lecture to familiarize you with the lab structure. You'll also review it on your first week of lab with your TA just to make sure you don't have any questions. Then make sure you print out, read, and initial each line of the syllabus contract. You will bring this with you to your first lab, turn it in, and receive 5 points to start the lab with an A. Our next section, section number 3, is titled First Lab Handouts. This is where you're going to find important documents for your lab. The first one is your notebook checklist. Your notebook checklist is your guide to all of the drawings and labels you need to make this semester. Notebooks help you study the material, force you to look more closely at slides and models, as well as rewriting terminology and drawing out different structures. Number 2, here, example notebook drawings contain some examples from previous students. We understand not everyone is an artist, but as long as you follow the notebook checklist and regularly show your work to your TA so they can provide feedback, you will do well on this assignment. Due to current circumstances surrounding COVID, having sufficient time in lab and open labs to complete all your drawings may be challenging, especially for those of you online. Therefore, your notebook checklist is now a digital document that you will submit through BabyLearn, and you are allowed to choose any 5 of the required drawings per lab, unless otherwise noted, instead of drawing all of them. If you choose to draw and submit more than 5 drawings for grading, your TA will only grade the first 5 drawings for credit. Number 3 is a reference sheet that categorizes all of the tissues you need to know for lab, and number 4 is a refresher on how to use a microscope. If we click on number 4, Open Lab, you will see that your Open Lab schedules will be posted up here for you to reference. This image shows you what an example Open Lab schedule will look like. We always try to have 2 or 3 graduate TAs in the lab at a time. They are not here to simply give you answers, rather they are here to clarify difficult topics, help you find structures on the slides or dissections, and facilitate discussion so you can synthesize and apply this material in a more meaningful way. Let's go back to our BabyLearn shell, and down here in number 5, we have study resources and practice material. In this area, you will find weekly study guides, practical reviews, and Jeopardy-based PowerPoints. You can use all of these to help you practice each week. Let's click over here and look at number 6. Number 6, other educational links, is a spot that will contain other helpful links or information your TA might find interesting. All right, next is the weekly lab material. If we scroll down on BabyLearn, you can see we have this header, weekly lab material. The first content area is a small notification to you. The 201 labs are under new management this semester, so some things may be slightly different. If you have any questions at all throughout the semester, always communicate with your TA. Below that, you can see each of the labs listed here with the lab number and the title of the lab. Let's start by clicking on Lab 1. As always, the first item is a set of instructions. In this case, it has highlighting and color coding. As you can see, the online lectures you need to watch before coming to lab the first week will be in black. The lab PowerPoints that accompany the video are in orange. Any helpful lab resources will be blue. Hybrid PowerPoints are green. Your weekly review questions are in red, and you will submit those questions in the purple sections. Below that, in magenta, are your weekly online tests, and at the bottom is where you will submit your weekly notebook drawings in teal. For Lab 1, there are 5 lectures to listen to. The first one here, How to Be Successful, is the one you are listening to right now, and below it is the accompanying PowerPoint. Then you will see the syllabus lecture in PowerPoint, which explains how the syllabus and lab works. After that, you can see there are 4 more lectures. 1 over microscopy, 1 over organization of the body, and 2 over histology. Those 4 lectures have only 1 PowerPoint to follow along with. After that is our hybrid review PowerPoint. This is designed to create in-lab discussions, clarify the content, or help you use the terminology. You can also download these PowerPoints as study tools. You will find a PDF of the weekly review questions below that in red. These questions are designed to help you practice the lab material. If working with other people, be sure to answer the questions in your own words. They are due each week, and you will submit them in the purple section below that. Click on the purple title, then scan and upload your final worksheet there. Each week, you will be expected to take a test over the previous lab's material. There are instructions here to help you be successful on those tests. You'll notice that you have 25 minutes to complete that test, and it must be completed in one sitting. You'll also notice that you will not be able to go back and revisit any questions, so you will need to look up and make sure that you have practiced this material. Some questions may be multiple choice, multiple answer, true, false, matching, labeling, and ordering. If you see a question that states mark all that apply, you may need to click on more than one answer, but one answer is also possible. You can receive partial credit on these questions. And below that is where you will submit your weekly notebook drawings. Just to show you one more item, if we click on Lab 2 and scroll down in blue, you will see resources we have built to help you study. In this case, a PowerPoint with labeled pictures of all the models we use for the integumentary lab. If you miss a lab, can't make open labs or office hours, or are taking this online, or just need a refresher when studying and drawing, use these resources to help you out. You will see muscle guides and dissection videos in future labs. Let's look a little lower on our left side here and go down to track your progress. An important part of your success in lab is to track your progress and your grades. This should be something you do each week or after each assignment. Don't wait until the end of the semester and then be shocked when your grade is lower than you expected. The first section is a short document that has the same grade descriptions you saw in the Improving Your Academic Performance document. Below that is the My Grades section. This is where you can see all of your scores on assignments. And last is the grade calculator. This is a quick and easy way to see how you are doing and how you need to perform in the future. At the top are the instructions that state, this calculator will give you an estimated idea of how well you will need to do the rest of the semester. Fill in the highlighted blanks to find out how many points you need to earn. You will find this information in your syllabus or on BB Learn. You can use this document for any lab or lecture, but know that it doesn't consider things like weighted grades or drop tests. You will look at the syllabus and enter the total points in the class. In this case, 430 points. You can see that the points required for certain grades populates. So for an A, you need 387 points. For a B, 344 points, and so on. Step 1, if you want an A, you would fill out 90%. So step 1, the percent I want to earn in this class is a 90%. Well, number 2 tells me that I need to earn 387 points. So great, I can see that that matches. In step 3, I want to put in my current percent. So I would go to My Grades and check my current percent. Let's say you have a 72%. Then you would go to step 4 and fill out the current total class points to date. Here you would add up any assignments like tests, review questions, or the syllabus contract and fill in the blank. Let's also say we're nearing the end of the semester and we have completed 250 points of the class. In step 5, you see how many points you have, and in step 6, you see how many points you need to earn the percent you originally wanted. In this case, you have 180 points, and therefore you need 207 points in order to earn the 90% that you wanted to get. But in step 7, you see there are only 180 points left in the class, which means you need 115% in order to get that 90% you originally wanted, and that's not going to be possible. So with that, you can figure out what the highest percentage is you can earn by changing the value in step 1. So if we drop this to an 85%, you can see we still need 103%. So I can't get an 85, but maybe I can get an 83%. And that's going to mean that I need 98.3% of the points that are remaining in this class. But let's change this again, and let's say you have, you want a 90%, but now you have an 85% in class, and we've only completed 120 points. So that means you have 102 points, and you need 285 of the remaining 310 points. That means you need 92% of the remaining points in order to get your 90%. Step 9 shows you that that percent is like getting an 18.4 on your weekly lab tests. From this, you can ask yourself, do I have the time to work at a 92% effort? Can I find more time or reallocate time from other classes or obligations to study harder in this lab? Or maybe you are just fine with this current grade projection. Whatever your perspective is, I hope this document helps you visualize your efforts and helps you plan how to move forward through the semester. And finally, you will see the helpful resources on campus content area. This is a repeat of what you saw under the Being Successful tips folder, but I put it here in case you needed to find it quickly. I hope this video helps you become more familiar with your BB Learn shell. Some of this material you may never look at, and other material you may use on a regular basis. It is here to help you have a successful semester in this lab and your academic career, and I hope you can apply some of these resources to other courses you are taking. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and best of luck to you this semester.